judging. There you go, Barry.
Okay, it's my cue. First of all, hello everybody.
Hey.
And first of all, I'd like to thank Marianne and Barbara for inviting me to be the judge. I won't make this too long, but I would like to talk about the process of what happened here and about the art that you're seeing in this show. First of all, it is really a privilege and an honor to be a judge for a show like this. And, you know, judging an art exhibit is never an easy thing to do. This was no exception, trust me. As someone who has judged other art shows and also been judged in art shows, I can tell you this. In the end, you'll always have at least half the people who think you're a crazy person who knows nothing about art, a whole bunch of people who think you're as blind as a minor league umpire, and a bunch more who think you're a prejudicial jerk. And then there are about 4 or 5 who think you're a genius, and those are the people who usually have ribbons stuck to them. This show was difficult because of the scale of the work, the breadth and the diversity of the art, and the sheer number of submissions, as you heard. It was 130. It was quite a task. So I decided going in that I would be totally impartial, and instead of making my decisions based on what I liked or didn't like, I'd create a number system and go strictly by the numbers. I did not know the names of the artists beforehand, except in a few cases where the signature was prominent, but I was able to recognize, and I was able to recognize the work of some of the artists, local artists. But I tried to be completely impartial in all those cases. And of course I was helped by Barbara and Marianne, who created the 5 categories that each piece would be judged on. They were selection and application of materials, professional workmanship, originality, use of design and composition, and concept. So with those parameters in place and a spreadsheet in hand, I spent quite a bit of time making what turned out to be very, very tough choices. Tough because the quality of the work was surprisingly very high, and because in these things you're never making apples to apples decisions. So, I'd like to compliment everyone who submitted art to this show. There wasn't a clunker in the bunch. In fact, there was some outstanding work that didn't get a ribbon, but easily could have. There were a few pieces I absolutely loved, and I would be very proud to hang them in my own home. In our system, the highest you could score is 20 points. Only 2 works scored a perfect 20. There were several 19s and a lot of 18s, and that'll tell you how highly I thought of the overall work. Let me say a few words about the ribbon winners. First place, which is over in this room in the center, I was struck by this painting from the time I walked into the room. Portraiture is one of the most difficult forms of painting to pull off, and this piece was masterfully rendered. The brush strokes, the use of light and dark really pulled it together, and it was, in my opinion, one of the best paintings in the show. I still don't know who the artist is, but I look forward to seeing more. Second place, this small abstract, it really spoke to me, especially its mix of mediums. It was simple, and yet it lets your imagination wander, which is just what a good painting should do. Third place, which is back there, up in the front. Second place is back there, the small painting with the red ribbon, and third was, over here, gotcha. Third place, I know this one is going to spark a little controversy because of the digital aspect and the illustrative nature of it, but illustration is an art form, and in today's art world, digital manipulation can be artfully handled, which I think this was. Whether this is a book illustration of some sort or not, that's my wife calling to tell me shut up and get home. You talk too long. But I thought that whether or not this is a book illustration or whatever, it does tell the story with a great deal of charm. Then the honorable mentions. Number one, the piece in there on the back, on the south wall.
Gray waterfalls.
Yeah, the one with the horse. When I first looked at this painting, I had to laugh. I said to myself, this is either the work of a total novice or a true master, and I love that. This odd placement of the horse and the strange scraping of the colors I found totally fascinating. Honorable mention number 2, this study in gray tones. It caught my eye because it reminded me of a work of a hugely successful abstract painter that I knew back in the 1970s by the name of Howard Buchwald. Despite the simplicity and crude handling of the paint, I kept going back to it, and hence its high marks. And honorable mention 3, again, it's a very illustrated piece done in mixed media, and it tells a story, and I thought it exhibited some humor as well as craft. And that piece is right up there. So, I would really love to have handed out a dozen ribbons, but I was limited to these 6, and I'm very happy with the results. And I congratulate the winners of these ribbons, but also everyone who exhibited in the show. The work was stellar up and down. By the way, I did not judge any of the art by the gallery members. Their art was held separately. So these are strictly people who submitted to the show. And once again, just wonderful work. It was a privilege and an honor for me to do this. So I thank you one and all.
Thank you.